long time ago, my father explained to me that money was nothing more than a promise that the government makes to its people. A promise that says that the paper bills you hold have intrinsic value. But what if the government reneged on that promise? Well, that's what happened in my country 3 years ago.
The 500 rupee and 1000 rupee currency notes presently in use will no longer be legal tender from midnight to night.
November 8th has entered the annals of Indian history as the day when Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced 500 and 1000 rupees notes ceased to be legal currency.
The Prime Minister said that this was an attack against black money, it was an attack against corruption, it was an attack against terrorism, and it was an attack against counterfeit currency.
These are the first few people being let into the bank now that it's open. And this after they've been standing in queue for 5 hours. And that's a real problem for these people because they desperately need their cash.
I was in the US after Prime Minister Modi demonetized the currency, and I was compelled to go back to India and get the authentic voices from the people on the ground. How are they feeling about what had just happened?
ऐसा ही काम है साहब, सारे मजदूर आदि फैक्ट्रियां बंद हो गई, देखो मजदूर परेशानी है, मजदूर के पास कहाँ पैसे हैं?
नोटबंदी की वजह से लोग खरीद नहीं रहे हैं।
There was a sense of fear. There were people being misdirected, misinformed. I mean, here was the Prime Minister of India saying the currency by which human beings exchange was valued at zero.
और ज़्यादा हालत दिनों दिन कम होती जा रही है, टूरिस्ट रुक नहीं पा रहा।
It was an unmitigated disaster, particularly for the poor people, which is pretty much 80 to 95% of India's population.
People were all in a state of major shock. It was almost like someone had suddenly attacked the city.
You could see the ATMs filling up. You could see panic on the streets. You could see a lot of anxiety among people as to what's going to happen.
ATM की नहीं, हमारे गांव से दूर हम इंटीरियर में रहते हैं,
अभी भी लाइन में लग रहे हैं, हम ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में अभी भी नहीं पैसे दे रहे बैंक में।
हम मजदूरों को पैसे देने को तैयार घर में नहीं है, उनकी धान कटाई का पैसा देना है।
अगर जैसे जिसके पास 8 बच्चे हैं तो किस तरह खवाएं अपना दूध पराली, किस तरह खाएंगे बताइए।
People were suffering. It was hard for them to get enough cash to go about their daily routines. It was so obvious that this was wrong, and suddenly I had people that I respected saying it's good.
Why do you not like him so much, Modi? Why are you so passionately against him?
He is anti-poor.
The poor people are happy because the rich people suffered.
India has become so corrupt, they needed to do something to fix it. The demonetization made them corrupt.
I was worried the entire country would just erupt, but that didn't happen.
मोदी जी ने क्या है वो अच्छे कर रहे हैं, बहुत ही अच्छे कर रहे हैं। वो
बहुत अच्छा काम किया मोदी जी ने, बहुत अच्छा, नोटबंदी का बहुत बढ़िया है काम, बहुत साहसिक कदम है।
जो मोदी जी ने किया वो सत किया, उसको लिए प्रणाम करता हूँ मैं।
The narrative that was presented to the Indian population was that demonetization would end corruption. And it was that corruption that the poor communities believed kept them in poverty. And so this action would be an opportunity to level the playing field between the rich and the poor. And Prime Minister Modi was perceived as the father who could do no wrong for his children.
हमारे कन कोई नुस्खान हम झूठ नहीं बोलेंगे, सत्य हैं हम।
I feel that this government works in such a way sometimes that if you speak out against it, then they might take some action against you.
साहब हम तो मोदी जी से बहुत खुश हैं, और अच्छा काम भी चल रहा है।
बीजेपी जिंदाबाद, मोदी जी जिंदाबाद।
The more questions I asked, the more convinced I was that many people were speaking from fear.
काम की तो काम। अरे यार फोटोग्राफी करना मना है, बहुत देर हो गई आपको।
ना?
अब जो मेरे को बताएगा वो बोल दूंगा सर.
You know, you believe something your whole life and suddenly everything changes. You know the world is round, but suddenly everybody looks at you and says, hey, it's not round, it's flat.